Hi again, I am Ishika, and in the past videos, I talked about my decision of taking a PhD, my prior research journey, and breaking down my entire application cycle into different phases and going deeper into the first phase of my cycle, which was just information gathering and exploring what it means to apply for a PhD. In this video, I will be adding and elaborating more on some aspects of the first phase, which is finding the right recommenders, and also strategies to strengthen your research profile. I'll first talk about finding the right recommender. Now, if you have already explored what are the different requirements for a PhD, you would know that recommenders are a core requirement for any application. In most programs, you would be asked to submit at least 3 letters of recommendations. Some people go for more than 3 letters, but I have heard that programs would randomly choose 3 in some cases. So I personally submitted 3 letters of recommendations. So in the first phase, which was March to June, I identified who are going to be my potential letters of recommendation. Now, a strong recommender is somebody who could potentially speak for your strengths and add to your application in a way that it supports the narrative you're trying to go for. This means they should have seen your work, and if they have seen your research, that's definitely a very good point in your favor. And another very important aspect of finding a good recommender is seeing if they would have credibility as your recommender. Now, this could mean that they are a professor who has worked with you or a professional who has worked with you. But if, let's say, they are somebody who are themselves in research, and more perfectly, if they are somebody who's in the same field of research as you, their word might hold more value because obviously they are able to speak to very relevant research skills that you come with. So, finding who are these people who have seen your work and also know the field would be a very critical aspect of this phase. So, if you are, in this phase as well, it would be great to start identifying who could be your potential recommenders. Now, generally, your recommenders could be professors who have taught you certain courses or professors who have done some research work with you. They could also be professionals you have worked with who could speak well of your work ethic and creativity or skills or any such thing that you're trying to talk about in your application. Or if there's somebody who does research, who have researched with you and maybe also published with you, that is like the perfect combination. So, if you already have such people, this would be a good time to reconnect with them, share your plans, update them about the kind of things you are looking forward to doing, and maybe they'll also be able to mentor you more about your application. However, if you do not have any such person, you are still quite early in the application cycle. So, this would be a good time to make such connections and finding people who could potentially recommend you in the future. Now, in my case, I had identified around 4 to 5 people who could recommend me. And I realized one of the people I really wanted to write a recommendation for me was somebody I worked with almost a year ago, and maybe not in a very direct or serious capacity. So while I knew they might not say no to writing a recommendation on my behalf, their recommendation might not be very strong because they don't know me that well. So, one thing that I did in the coming months was to reconnect with them, tell them what I'm up to, and find an opportunity to collaborate with them again. Okay. This gave them a chance to know more about me, and I really think that this collaboration really added a lot more to what they could write about me in their letter, and also gave them more confidence about my skills. Another very important aspect is that a lot of times a recommender might not be able to show up for you in the last minute. This happened with me that one of the persons I was counting on just could not write a letter for me, and it's not really on them. They just could not find the time, and things did not work out that way. So I'm glad I had backups, and I was not fixating or deeply dependent on just 3 people. So, finding a backup recommender is going to be extremely important, and you would hear more of such cases where, last minute recommendations did not work out. So this is another tip that I would give you at this moment. So yeah, reach out to your recommenders, reach out to the people who've worked with you before, and work harder to strengthen your connections with them. Another aspect that I talked about before was building a stronger research profile. As I mentioned that I was looking forward to pitch myself as a mixed method researcher, but I had more of qualitative research experience on my profile. I tried to identify opportunities that could help me build a more quantitative kind of a profile as well, so that I could speak about both of these aspects in my applications. And if you are also going to find opportunities to collaborate with your potential recommenders again, maybe you could club these two bits. This is something I did. Found an opportunity to work with a recommender again, and I decided to pick up a more quantitative kind of a project for that opportunity. And yeah, it worked in my favor. They got to work with me more, and I also worked on something I did not know of before and added more skills to my profile. So these are some questions you should ask yourself. Is your profile ready for the kind of narrative you want and the kind of persona you're trying to pitch for your applications? And how can you strengthen it further? Now, in the upcoming videos, I'll be talking about more details of what I did in the next phase, which was somewhere around June to October. This was a very heavy phase, so there would be multiple parts to this video. But I hope it teaches you something about the application process and helps you in some way. I'll see you in the next one.